sunshine through the clouds, 55 degrees at 1:40. I'm Chris home. Here's what's happening. We are on track for opening statements in Donald Trump's hush money trial for Monday. A full jury panel has now been selected. Moments after that was announced, outside the courthouse, the fire started. Illegal pot shops in the city could soon be padlocked. The local wants to include changes in the state budget that would give the city more power to shut down those lawyers for Senator Menendez essentially told the federal court they might lay some of the blame on his wife. Lawyers now asking for some extra time to prepare for the trial. Air traffic controllers keep getting some.
Yes, switching to Lambo. Switching to Lambo is already on. Switching to Lambo now. I need to build up the Lambo account.
Right now, mix the sun and clouds. We'll see a lot more clouds as the day goes on. Even a couple of showers around the high of 56. News time 141. Traffic and transit on the ones. We're checking the K.
No issues right now on Long Island. This is an accident on the Long Island Expressway as you make your way eastbound between exits 37 and 38 going east of Willis Avenue. Traffic's going to be jammed up there. The northern state going east still winds up being a better run. But both the LI and the northern have westbound delays getting into Queens. There was an earlier accident on the northern state coming west into Queens. The LI also has traffic going on the Expressway in Queens where they have repairs still going on. Now the southern state still having a tough time over by Route 110 with an ongoing accident investigation. As you cross the Verrazano Bridge, Vegas called in. Greg Denver, you've got a problem on the upper level. It's an accident making your way over to Brooklyn. He said there were 2 lanes blocked on the upper level of the Verrazano Bridge getting over to Brooklyn. So stay with the lower, but once into Brooklyn, the Bell's got a really bad ride. All stop and go from the Verrazano Bridge going east over to Sheepshead Bay. There's more traffic both ways on the Bell. Over by Erskine Street where we have repairs and traffic.
Yep. I'm going to try to get a picture and a quick screenshot on this switch.
Wins news time 143. The jury has been seated. 12 people, 6 alternates, have been sworn in. This is on track for opening statements on Monday in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. Opening statements and weeks of testimony are expected in this case. Trump is charged with falsifying business records to suppress stories about an alleged affair he had that would have potentially emerged in the final days of the 2016 election. This case centering around $130,000 Trump's lawyer, then Michael Cohen, paid to porn star Stormy Daniels. Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records with the wrongdoing. Moments after the news was announced that a full jury was seated, there was a fire outside the courthouse in the courtyard right in front of the courthouse building. Not clear what caught fire. We did see images of NYPD officers rushing in with fire extinguishers to put it out. Not clear how that may be related to what happened inside, but we'll bring you more as we learn it. Wins News Time 144. Illegal pot shops are everywhere. The city has tried to close as many down as possible, but they keep popping up. And the local wants to help. She's pushing for some changes to be added in the budget. More on that with Harrington Buckley.
Mayor Adams showed up at Governor Hochul's press conference.
Okay, I'm going to switch to Lambo. Thank you, everybody. Switch to Lambo time.
A padlock is just one thing the sheriff's office and the NYPD is going to use to shut down illegal pot shops once and for all.
Welcome back. I switched to 1020. Do you like the 1020?
Conversations with union leaders and others to talk about what is necessary to make sure that this is the best secure system that our children can ever expect. And so and I think definitely got that. Let's get it done.
It has been a bit controversial. There are a number of representatives in the city out in Albany who do not want to see this extended. would not in the budget. But there's still some minds that need to be changed.
Hello.
Just now?
Nice coffee, but I'm not your driver.
Oh, you're not? I'm sorry.
But you can. Thank you for the coffee. Hello, hello, India. Namaste. Enjoy, Dave. Anyone with information, ask the Crime Stop. Two Long Island drivers got a surprise they didn't want. They found water in their gas tanks after filling up at the same station in Huntington.
Nicole shared a video with me of her mechanic holding a bottle of water. That water came out of her fuel tank of her BMW. She says she got premium gasoline at the BP on the corner of Oakwood Road and East Jericho Turnpike. And I'm lucky that this happened, that it was sitting in my garage and didn't turn after that. We also only have one car. Obviously, it's a pretty big inconvenience. Personality also was not charged. He got the same gas at the same station. The spokesperson for the station tells me water was found in the premium tank. Alarms were supposed to go off, but they did not. He blames a week of heavy rain for the problem. Bruce says don't fill her up after a lot of rain.
The rise in the water tank is caused by all the rain. Has caused the water tankers to rise above the top of the tank that it goes.
Sophia Hall, Central Wind, the 92.3 FM, Huntington, Long Island.
Twins News Time 148. Ukrainian officials at the G7 meeting in Italy are pushing for more foreign aid.
At the G7 meeting in the Italian city, the brilliant Dmitro Kuleba tried to convince others there that the fight against Russia is really over. And he once said,
Ukraine was all necessary resource that as soon as possible to save Europe from the long war.
now we're buying into that argument, others are not. Europe is economically stagnated right now, burdened by energy zones, dealing with increasing economic migrants, while further bankrolling aid. Tom Rivers, ABC News, California.
The House voted today to advance 3 separate aid bills for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. A final vote is scheduled for tomorrow. The bills give roughly $26 billion to Israel and Gaza, $61 billion to Ukraine, and $8 billion set aside for the Indo-Pacific. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson. Several House Republicans have accused Johnson of working with Democrats to get the bill done, a bipartisanship. President Biden has said he supports the plan. Twins News Time 150. An announcement coming from inside the courthouse. Moments after we learned that a full panel was seated, there was a fire outside the court in a courtyard, not far from where many of the reporters had been posted. Emergency crews rushed in and were told one person was taken away on a stretcher. It's not clear how that fire started at the moment.
park.
Better beyond that, west side and east side have to raise the 150s trying to get up to the George Washington Bridge. It is what it is, like a bridge in the tunnel. Right now, the Holland Tunnel, that's getting into the queue, but it's going to be slow in the queue to Jersey. Once you middle, it looks like the 11th Avenue approach is going to be the one you want to avoid going through. The George Washington Bridge, still about 20 minutes on your way into town.
Yep.
The west approach getting out of town, and we do have
Much better. 10
on the 8th and eastern, there is still delayed both ways. Plenty of company right now in both the LIM Northern Street, westbound heading into Queens. There is a stall on the eastbound LIM as the hill before the Willis Avenue in Nassau County. Upgrade on the Verrazano Bridge. They're still working to clear an accident on the upper level going over to Brooklyn. The lower level was
Yep.
right now on the Verrazano Bridge. And this is where Bob Mike and then here is I have to tell you, the Sports Freeway
Head to your pickup on W22nd Street. Turn right on West 22nd Street, then
You're
pick up
big.
on the right. Pick up on the right.
David? What's your name, David?
Pick up on the right.
David. Yeah. This was David.
Head to your drop off at David off of Geneva on 6th Ave.
Sure.
Speed trap reported ahead.
We're on 6th Avenue, so just go up on 6th Avenue. exit to go on park.
Okay. Yeah.
every hour. I'm Ann Casey, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
I agree with you.
Yeah, right. It's interesting, new sneakers, hookah.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, you have hookah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're comfortable?
Yeah, they're comfortable and they cushion a lot.
Oh, that's what I need. Not bad. I went inside like 120. You have hookah now?
Yeah.
Is what you got? That's comfortable?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I was looking at this guy. I'm gonna stop by. I saw it online, much cheaper, but maybe it's fake. I'm not sure. You don't know what you get online. And also, line is not the same size.
Estimated time in traffic, 12 minutes. Head southwest on 5th Avenue toward East 20th Street.
It's a little
Turn
bumpy
left on
road.
East 20th Street.
Try to avoid the bumpy road. Making new pavement.
Just ahead, turn right on Avenue of the Americas. Turn right on Avenue of the Americas.
Can I take this picture of this model and ask him? I want one of these. You don't mind?
It's Arahi.
It's called rat.
Arahi.
Okay. But they will see the picture. They know what to show me. Yeah. Thank you.
Call 800-741-3889. 800-741-3889. 800-741-3889. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WINS FM at 61 New York. Always live.
Get their news from 1010 Wins and from any other radio station in the nation. Angela Laurie is our service day. Chris Roush, our writer. Justin Traeger is at the editor's desk. And I'm Kevin Rincon. All news at 92.3 FM. Enjoy. 57 degrees under cloudy skies.
Speed trap reported ahead.
Here's what's happening. At the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse, 12 main jurors, 6 alternates now officially seated to hear testimony in the Donald Trump hush money trial. We'll have details on that. Plus a disturbing incident which played out in front of the courthouse this morning. Stand by. Governor Hochul cleared her throat this morning with illegal pot stuff. I'm coming.
We waited far too long for this reckoning with all the illegal stuff. And your day has come.
The governor, along with the mayor, announcing a new 5-point plan to clean the clock. We're not talking Tupperware, folks. We'll also get a live report on this Earth Day and close to 1,000 students rallying on behalf of climate emergency. In Williamsburg, one city councilman and some of his colleagues
Red lane blocked ahead.
To talk about the Trump jury as well as an incident that happened out front. But first, everybody wants to know what the weather is going to be like. Not a bad start to the weekend if you'll accept a somewhat overcast day. Maybe a spot of rain later tonight, but AccuWeather says we could be in for a decent, albeit a little cooler weekend. Meteorologist John Garrett here now to give us the big picture as we start this Earth Day weekend. John.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty nice weekend on tap overall weather-wise, Larry. Again, as you said, there's going to be some rain that works into the area tonight. Most of that rain is going to be after midnight, but it's probably gone by 8 or 9 in the morning tomorrow. And then clouds bring through some sunshine tomorrow, with the breeze will top out at 67 tomorrow afternoon, which is actually slightly above average for this time of the year. And then we'll see some cooler air work in tomorrow night, Sunday. Sunday, right around 60 with some sunshine. So again, a pretty nice weekend.
Thank you, John. And we begin Trump's hush money trial. They seated 12 jurors yesterday, and as we go on the air, we've gotten word that 6 alternates have also been chosen. Opening arguments could begin early next week, perhaps as early as Monday. We'll get back to that in just a moment, but we want to also tell you about a disturbing scene in front of the courthouse. We're hearing that thrust a person on a stretcher from a fire that has broken out in front of the building. Now, we're not sure how that fire started or if it had any connection whatsoever to the Trump proceedings. We are monitoring developments in that, and we will update this part of it later. Back to what's happening inside, prosecutors still trying to get the judge to hold Trump in contempt as he continued to rail against the gag order. No word on when or if the judge will rule on that. Prosecutors plan to show an alleged scheme on part of Trump to pay off a porn star to prevent negative stories about him just prior to the 2016 election to allegedly dupe voters. Trump says it's a witch hunt and continues to blame the Democrats and President Biden for trying to ruin his good name during this year's walk-up to the presidential election of 2024. Also this afternoon, illegal pot shops. We've been doing stories on legal shops that are complaining that some of these pop-ups are ruining business and endangering people's lives. Well, that may be about to change. Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams joined forces today to launch what they're calling the strongest action yet to smoke out illegal pot shops.
Mayor Adams showed up at Governor Hochul's press conference with a padlock in his hand. All right. Mayor, let's hold up the padlock there. She says a padlock is just one thing the sheriff's office and the NYPD is going to use to shut down illegal pot shops once and for all, and they have a 5-point plan to stop it. All we have to do is verify that the selling product not tested or labeled in accordance with our law. The new law is also warning bodega owners. If you're caught selling illegal cannabis of any kind, you're at risk of losing it all.
New York State can revoke tobacco, liquor, and lottery licenses.
Mary Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Murray Hill.
The governor says she's using the power of the state budget to give us the tools we need to, at the state and local level, to put a stop to all this. 1010 Wins, has been following this in our State of the Boroughs series, and we'll check back to see how this is working. Meantime, a lot of Earth Day events going on today, including a big climate strike involving more than 1,000 kids who want the Biden administration to declare a climate emergency. 1010 Wins newsman Matt Rosenberg is at a protest Central, in fact, joining us with the latest in this live report. Matt, what message are they trying to send here to the Biden administration?
Well, Larry, these high school students here, they want the end of fossil fuels. They want to transition to community-based renewable energy. They say that'll create millions of good-paying union jobs. And they're holding signs today that say solution, not pollution, and fossil fuels spill. And the plan for them is to march from here at Foley Square over and across the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, one of the big things they've been pushing for is an end to drilling in Alaska. Well, just today, the 2 million acres in that state. So a big win for these advocates here, but they say that is only a fraction of the area where drilling should stop. There's also about the future and what climate change has and will continue to do to the globe as far as sea levels and natural disasters. They want the president to find Fenway, 92.3 FM, live from the Express.
Situations near you, Shiva. They say that's just it. It's just not enough. Councilman Lincoln Ressler says there are dozens of private schools out there with thousands of babies, and we need help.
The community in South Williamsburg has over 50 private educational schools, and yet there are very few crossing guards in the community. We have tens and tens of thousands of kids going in and out of these private schools each and every day, and we need more crossing guards to help keep our kids safe.
Yeah, he fired off a letter to the police commissioner asking him to beef up protection at crosswalks in that neighborhood. The backstory: the city, cut some 500 crossing guard positions for the NYPD's ranks last year in an effort to reduce costs. Well, coming up on 1010 Win. Manhattan Community Board 4 says you won't be getting a kiss from us, a different musical act and a different tune, but it doesn't matter because efforts to get a corner in Chelsea renamed after the group Kiss won't fly anyway. We'll tell you about the application and the Kiss stick when our news continues on 1010 Win. Win News Time 209.
Hi, I'm Henry Wilson. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Now this message, immigration problems, contact Gahey and Associates, 956-GEHI-LAW. Wins News Time 210. Traffic and AccuWeather, isn't it?
Todd, you look perplexed. John Montone. Well, this Eve celebration event is happening right now at Ramsey Crisis and Dodge Ram, and every one of our vehicles have incredible offers. I just don't know where to begin. Your possible always begins at Ramsey right now.
Police reported ahead.
State's doing a lot better going eastbound toward Route 110. Westbound, there is a little bit of traffic over by the Clearview, by the area of the Clearview Expressway. And also watch out for traffic on the North Shore. We got bumper-to-bumper delays here on the LIE going westbound through Lake Success. And this goes all the way over to the Clearview. That's where we have construction work going on. That's still being worked on. Meanwhile, the Grand Central Parkway, that looks good going westbound, but not getting there because the northern state is tied up. Bumper-to-bumper traffic coming into Cross Island. That's where we still have an accident being worked on. John was the latest one to call that one in. Meanwhile, in Queens, take the Clearview. That's your McKay way to bypass the Cross Island. Cross Island has a big jam up heading down to the LIE. That's road work as well. And here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We are plenty busy on the Brooklyn Bridge getting over to Brooklyn. We're a lot less busy on the Manhattan Bridge right now. Both the Lincoln and the Highland tunnels, decent shape getting out of town. southbound at the Lincoln Tunnel. Avoid the 11th Avenue approach. That's going to be the slow one. And the GW Bridge right now, your worst approach out of town, that is the Cross Bronx Expressway. And this report sponsored by the Care Right Centers. I'm Jeff McCabe. The next report, 221, 1010 Lincoln, 92.3 FM.
The landscaping for rehabilitation and nursing at Rosser Center provides outstanding clinical care for Nassau County short-term rehabilitation for long-term skilled nursing population in a luxurious 5-star setting. To learn more, visit carerightcenters.com. We start where others stop.
And now your 1010 rain is back with the 4-day forecast. There's meteorologist John Spirit now with this live report.
The clouds break the sun out there for the rest of the afternoon. We'll stop out there for maybe the low 60s. There'll be a shower or two out there late this afternoon. More likely maybe across New Jersey up the Hudson Valley. And then tonight, again, maybe a shower or two for the evening. Some rain and drizzle late tonight. We're down to 48. The rain comes to an end early tomorrow. Clouds break some sunshine. Breezy and nice in the afternoon up to 67. A little bit cooler Sunday, partly sunny high 60. Monday mostly sunny at 63. Now Central Park 57 with the sun. Top out at 61 in Midtown. Back to the meteorologist John Spirit on New York Summer Station 1010 winds and 92.3 FM.
And coming up in a moment, folks, we got a little New Yorker that's missing, and we need your help trying to locate him because there's a 74-year-old lady who is sick as she can be missing. And we're talking about a dog, of course. I don't want to mislead you and think we've got a baby missing out there. In any event, we'll talk about it when we come back. Wednesday time, 2:14.
As a person who's seen a lot of Broadway shows over the past 40 years, there's one musical I keep telling all my friends to see, A Sign of the Times. It takes you back, all the way to 1965, with the styles, the story, the dance, and all of those songs. I just felt this great leaving the theater, and I don't know how long. This is my music. This is my musical. And I think it could be yours, too. Get your tickets at asignofthetimes.com.
Are you a New Yorker who's never been surprised by the following? How everyone has a podcast?
I've got almost 17 subscribers.
How apartments that are called cozy are just really small?
Pictures of the state of mind.
How your friends in Jersey will never visit you?
No, I'm not coming.
Nothing surprises a New Yorker, except for the prizes you can win with the new scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. Play $10 million cash from the New York Lottery today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY.
Hey, Wins fam, we want to update you on that situation in front of the courthouse where they picked a jury today in the Donald Trump hush money trial. As we mentioned, they cleared a person off on a stretcher to the hospital after a fire which took place out front. Still don't know how that fire started, but in any event, the NYPD is telling us now that that person is in critical condition at a hospital with burns. Again, we're still digging. We have our reporters and producers looking into it to see the origin of that fire and who that person was. Again, no word on whether or not this was connected to the proceedings taking place inside the courthouse. But again, we'll dig around and see what we can find with that. Just wanted to update you on that. Meantime, big question right now. Who stole Romeo Rivera? That's the poor lady.
Autotrophs, which make their own food, and heterotrophs, like animals, which, eat other organisms to get their energy. But there are these funky little creatures in the ocean called mixotrophs that are kind of somewhere in between. So maybe they do some photosynthesis, but also eat, kind of tiny plankton, something like that. And so scientists found that during heat waves in the Gulf of Alaska, mixotrophs tended to make up a larger portion of the plankton during these heat events. And so
to a scientific breakthrough. It turns out that hibernating bumblebees can survive being submerged into water for up to a week. What?
I know, this is absolutely wild. Makes me feel better about all the lab accidents I may have caused when I was in college. So yes, this Canadian university, they were studying bumblebees, and they had a few hibernating queens, basically stored in the fridge. They had them in these like little soil-filled tubes. And one of the researchers realized that one of these tubes had gotten moisture inside, and so a few of the bees had been submerged in water. But they took them out, and the queens woke up and they were okay. And so they looked into this a little bit more and found that, when they
I'll pull aside here. Okay, thank you. Okay, good weekend. Thank you for the information for the
I
shoes.
hope you like the sneakers. I think they're really great.
I'm gonna go check it out on the weekend.
It helps your knees, it helps your back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Important studies on plastics and health, but none making the direct connection between the presence of microplastics in our body and an adverse specific health impact. However, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say plastics inside our bodies is not a good thing.
Delivery.
It's a nutrition source. And unfortunately, we have found through reading the scientific papers the list of microplastics, not only in the human heart, the human placenta. The New England Journal of Medicine article had an editorial by noted Dr. Phil Landrigan, and in his editorial, he makes the point that
Viva, viva, viva.
to avoid plastic. And it's a conversation to have, but it's pretty hard to avoid plastics in your kitchen, for instance. But there are steps you can take. There are alternatives. And I think we've reached a new level in terms of concern about health impacts of plastic that needs to be a catalyst for change in the halls of Congress, in the halls of state legislatures around the country, and at the United Nations Plastic Treaty negotiations, which are starting April 22nd in Ottawa, and which, by the way, are not going particularly well.
United Nations Association.
Recycling is presented as the major solution to plastics, but obviously that's pretty flawed. Recycling can only deal with certain kinds of plastics. So how much of the plastic we use is recyclable, and why is some plastic recyclable and some not? Very little plastic is actually recyclable. We did a study at Beyond Plastics with our partners at the last beach cleanup, a great name for a group. And we documented that in the United States, the plastics recycling rate is an abysmal 5 to 6%. And I want to explain why. There are just too many different types of plastic, too many different colors, thousands of chemical additives. So unlike an aluminum can, when you put that in your recycling bin, it can be recycled into a new aluminum can. Your newsprint can be recycled into writing paper or cardboard. But with plastics, it's just fundamentally not recyclable. So think of your own home. You might have a bright orange hard plastic detergent bottle on top of your washing machine. And then in your refrigerator, you might have a clear, squeezable ketchup plastic bottle. Those two items cannot be recycled together. They're different plastic polymers, they're different colors, and they're different chemicals. So fundamentally, most plastics are not recyclable. Yet the plastics industry has spent millions of dollars advertising, telling us, don't worry about all the plastics you're using, just toss it in the recycling bin. And quite honestly, in most communities, the only plastics that are actually recyclable are those that are marked number 1, which is PET plastic. So soda bottles, juice bottles, shampoo bottles, and then those marked number 2, HDPE plastic, which is like some soap dispensers, some milk jugs, but you've got to look at the bottom of the packaging, and those little numbers are getting smaller and smaller. And in fact, for PET, a little over half of what gets recycled is soda bottles and beverage containers from the 10 states in the U.S. that have bottle bills, mandatory deposit laws. Those laws really work. They reduce plastic litter, and that plastic is kept source separated and clean, and a lot of those plastic bottles actually do get recycled. I want to talk a little bit about the policy side of this. You know, there was something we saw recently where there's plastic in most clothing now, and the California legislature passes this bill that would have required washing machines to have filters to trap that microplastic, but then the governor vetoed it.
And it makes me curious about how you see the role of politics and policy in dealing with these problems. Are there situations where you've seen the government getting plastic right?
Yeah, there definitely are. And what's interesting is the leadership is coming from local governments. So there are many local governments around the country that have adopted plastic bag bans on polystyrene food containers, local laws that prohibit the release of balloons, because what goes up comes down. And then also, lately, there's been a lot of momentum in New Jersey and already adopted in New York City of a local law called Skip the Stuff. When you order takeout food, you often will say, I just need the food. I don't need all the utensils, all the napkins, all the condiments, because I'm eating at home. And you still get all the napkins, all the plastic utensils, all the condiments. So in New York City, and I can tell you this actually works because I've tried it a few times, you order takeout food, you do not automatically get all the condiments and utensils unless you ask for it. So that's a way that restaurants save money and we have less plastic waste. At the state level, there are 9 states that have banned plastic bags. There are a number of states that are dealing with plastic packaging in different ways. There's a whole area called responsibility to either recycle or manage it. Right now, they have no skin in the game. We get dumped with so much packaging that you can't recycle. So 4 states have adopted extended producer responsibility laws. Unfortunately, the industry lobbyists got their paws on it, and I don't think any of these 4 states, with maybe the exception of Maine, are a particularly strong law. As we speak, the New York State Legislature is considering a very important Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act, which it would require a 50% reduction in plastic packaging over 12 years. It would require 19 of the most toxic chemicals used in packaging to be banned. Chemicals like PFAS chemicals, lead, mercury, vinyl chloride, formaldehyde. I don't want formaldehyde in my food packaging. I don't think anyone does. Third element is, of course, a modest fee on packaging. So local governments get some money to deal with all of this flood of packaging heading their way. And then most importantly, we have a very strict definition of recycling. This bill deals with all packaging, not just plastic packaging. So recycling is limited to real recycling and not the latest industry pseudo solution called chemical recycling or advanced recycling. Is policymakers are finally understanding that we can't recycle our way out of this problem. And so now the plastics and chemical and fossil fuel lobbyists are all pushing this very dangerous technology called chemical recycling. And we just have to make sure that that is not included in packaging laws around the country.
I would love to know a little bit more about this chemical recycling thing. I haven't heard much about this. What makes this bad and what can people do about it?
Well, chemical recycling is a bit of a unicorn. It's not real, but it's a marketing strategy. When a lawmaker wants to adopt a strong law, the chemical lobbyists come in and say, no, we don't need to reduce packaging, let us do chemical recycling. But what it basically is you're heating plastics at a very high temperature and attempting to turn it into low-grade fiber. That's what you need. And then there are a few facilities that try to turn plastic waste into new plastic, but the problem is in the process it generates a large amount of hazardous waste. There are only 10 of these facilities in the whole country that are constructed. Most are built in low-income communities or communities of color. 8 of the 11 plants that were constructed are located in areas with lower than average income. They're only handling now 1.3% of the total U.S. plastic waste generated. Once these generators, so they're going to double their capacity. That gets us to a whopping 2.6%. Let them triple it. It's still under 10%. So it's not a real solution. And I would maintain that the biggest problem with chemical recycling is it just doesn't work. And it doesn't work for the same reason why more traditional or known as mechanical recycling doesn't work. Plastics are too diverse. Too many different chemicals, too many different colors, too many different polymers. You can't really effectively take what's in your recycling bin, ship it off to a chemical recycling facility, and expect it to be dealt with.
If this is about policy, it is about systemic change, but are there choices that you are able to make in your life that help you feel more hopeful about the future of plastic?
Yes, you can do everything possible to avoid it. What I encourage people to do is look at their own homes and what's the heaviest use of plastic. It's typically in the kitchen, with food packaging. So, if you don't use a lot of soda, one bottle every 2 years, don't worry about the ketchup bottle. But if you have a family member who uses a lot of no judgment, but don't buy it in plastic jugs. We buy it in frozen concentrate. There's a lot of progress in your detergent aisle. There's a lot of concentrate being sold. So just look at your heaviest uses. Bring reusable bags to the supermarket. I have a little case of bamboo utensils I put in my purse because I really try to avoid plastic utensils. Reusable coffee mugs if you're a big coffee drinker. The other point I want to make is nothing tastes good in plastic. So even if you're not particularly concerned about the planet and the fact that we're turning our ocean into a plastic watery landfill, it just doesn't taste good in plastic. And by all means, never, ever, ever microwave your foods in plastic.
That is so helpful to know, and I could go on about this for hours, but I really appreciate you being here. We're out of time for now, and I would just like to thank my guest, Judith Banks, former EPA Regional Administrator, and we have to take a break.
How you doing?
Stuart?
You need a trunk?
Stuart?
Yeah.
Future state for bananas. Stay with us.
This is Science Friday from WNYC.
46 and Vanderbilt.
46, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Creators of MATLAB and Simulink software for technical computing and model-based design. MathWorks, accelerating the pace of discovery in engineering and science. Learn more at mathworks.com. Science Friday is also supported by BetterHelp, committed to supporting mental health through therapy and helping clients find balance. Clients are matched with one of 35,000 therapists for online therapy from anywhere at betterhelp.com/public. Science Friday is produced by the Science Friday Initiative, a nonprofit organization dedicated to increasing the public's access to science and scientific information. More about their work at sciencefriday.com.
Private Secret Police, the Ministry of State Security, or MSS, has stepped up the number of raids and detentions to quell espionage.
I know my wife well enough to know. Been married for 8 years. Don't have no fingers. She's not a spy.
WNYC supporters include the Public Theater, the Disney Jordan, a new website,
parts of Eurasia. And in the last handful of years, we've seen this virus expand into new geographic locations.
Blocked lane ahead.
The US, where it's also shifted further south into South America, and finally into Antarctica. So this virus now has a global distribution in wild birds. And during the last 2 weeks, what we saw was the consequence of this virus being really widespread in wild birds, where it managed to jump from wild birds in a farm setting to dairy cows and finally into humans. So this is a great demonstration of how well this virus is able to jump between hosts that are completely unrelated very efficiently.
So when I went to a Halloween party in 2006 and a virologist friend was dressed as H5N1, that's the same virus. It's not a different version of that.
That is the same one. Yes, that is absolutely the same one. You see, I'm still stealing away for a good couple of decades now in certain parts of the globe. That is expanded and it's increased its host range at the same time. And the consequence has been unpredictable host events that are now happening and that have many of us in the flu community becoming. So there are
the kinks haven't yet been worked out.
Differences between wild birds shows up on the farm and a cow.
Well, we can just run
one person who works on the
targeted
cow farm.
searches on their emails
Tell me a little bit about
for that.
some of the risks there when you have a virus jumping between these very
But if you come up with, you know, what kind of electronic search you want done, like from what you look at and what you think, capture it, right.
From wild birds into cows, that's completely original.
And then we can go from there. Why don't you look around and I manage first and see what there is.
So I should clarify, we didn't actually see any of these mutations that would signal adaptation to mammals in the cattle. But what we saw was adaptations in the human. There was one very clear marker of mammalian adaptation, and that is usually the entry level for the virus to start fine-tuning its genome and become better equipped to replicate inside a mammalian cell. But the fact that it's gained that single mutation is again making it pretty uncomfortable about the possibility of this happening again. And so the chances of this happening again in another host.
So there might not be anything further. I might have some in my council file. Sometimes I save them, sometimes I don't, but I don't know that. As I recall, these are very bare bones designs, typical patent style. So I wouldn't have had any line edit type things. It would have all been discussion. Is my guess. Now there might have been an email saying I approve at some point, but I sincerely doubt that there would be a substantive one. I do think I might have been forwarded the memo at the time, or I think I was forwarded a draft to the memo.
This is obviously not the first time we've seen this kind of situation where
there was a draft before
common
this file.
animals makes the jump to a handful of people. It's not even
So
the first time
you
with
might
this particular
see that.
virus.
Again, they might not have saved
But
the
it
emails.
feels a little bit different now in many ways because of the experiences.
But it might be in their outlook. I don't know that it matters. I don't think you'll find anything substantive. And the fact is that I did review it. That's going to be a fact. It's not going to be affected by that. And I'm quite sure the fact is that there was a draft of the TED memo about that before filing.
Of every scientist everywhere, I think, to monitor and be really aware of the evolution of influenza viruses. They're amazing at adapting to new
Right, it might have been a little more
that are completely unrelated. We have seen this before, as you were saying. There have been over 800 cases of H5 spilling over from an animal into humans over the last handful of decades, and typically it dead ends in that human host. That's the moment that we all breathe a sigh of relief, and it doesn't seem to be capable of efficient human-to-human transmission. And that's the part where we're a little bit upstream of that event by
unsettled what?
don't think it's the best course of action.
Additional.
Yeah, so the current guidance on how to respond to an outbreak in poultry is calling
Probably true, right?
And so flocks that are infected
as indicated by future, by past history.
And that limits the possibility of transmission between farms or between
And again, it was dedication to disclosure.
as a policy that's been applied for the last decade.
Okay, well. But you could look at it as fines that we thought it what the chance of success was. I think that's. I was going to say that, and the case law bears it out, that these dedication to disclosure arguments did end up getting stronger and passing muster. So in retrospect, we think it actually would have prevailed. Or sort of weird because it does go through all this issues and then it just has, but you have a risk of antitrust. It's like it's tacked on. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. That's, if we step back from the client, it's actually good for us because we were perfectly honest about, well, it doesn't say we said that publicly, but Jeff would say we said that. And the judge in the Third Circuit who disagreed with our final conclusion, but pretty much everything else stands up. Okay, we can deal with that. It's almost, well, I was going to say, it's, given the Third Circuit's ruling, if you were to go to trial, there could be that you're supposed to bring reasonable arguments, certain whatever the standard is. This one prevent it all. We recognize that the best, but sometimes the best, sometimes they're not. But that's what advocating, and it's harder to say we thought this was a slam dunk than it is to say to sort of admit 50%. We thought it was a long shot, but reasonable. Maybe it's just wishful thinking that sort of thing. And obviously, it's nothing against that. At least is a believable position. It's actually a true position, but it's not believable. So. Especially it's also true, by the way, that we thought we legit had learned about it forever. And he would fight against that. Another part of it. certainly got that feeling and emotion. So, I guess he didn't. This is how he found it. So that was and the only thing that was never tested is all right. See ya. We're about to turn left. Sorry. I decided no. Yeah, okay. A quarter minute. Okay. It's just... Alright. South side of 46. Downtown side of 46. Okay. See ya.
The immigrant hotel was
Is that alright?
yeah.
Adding new lift ride to queue.
Used to be a sort of fancy place.
Yeah, I know. All the hotel in Manhattan was given to the immigrant.
Really?
I don't know what's up with that.
Is that why you can't find a place to stay anymore?
Yeah. And if you find something, it's expensive.
Right.
Boat or something. So I'm gonna pull here, okay? This is 46 and Vanda.
Yeah.
You have something in the back, don't forget.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day, good weekend. Good Chavez. Thank you. Hag Sameach. Ay, ay, ay.
Administration will be relieved that it ends up this way.
Officials in Tehran have indicated there will be no retaliation, potentially bringing to a close a cycle of violence that began when Iranian commanders were killed in a drone strike on Damascus. The organizers of the annual Jewish pilgrimage to the Tunisian island of Jerba have cancelled this year's event because of the war in Gaza. The head of the organizing committee, Perez Travelsi, said the annual event will be reduced to limited rituals in synagogues. Mr. Travelsi said it wouldn't be well to hold celebrations when people are dying every day. The Jewish community in Jerba is believed to date back more than 2,000 years. A man has set himself ablaze outside the New York courthouse where the trial of the former U.S. President Donald Trump is being heard. It came as jury selection for the trial was being completed, with the selection of 5 more alternate jurors. Neda Tawfiq was outside the court in New York when the incident happened.
House in Lower Manhattan. He doused himself in lighter fluid and lit himself on fire after throwing colored pamphlets in the air. Many in the area started screaming and shouting for a fire extinguisher. Nearby officers began running into the park. He was carried away on a stretcher, badly burned. Officials say he was transported to the hospital in critical condition. His motive remains unclear.
The United Nations Human Rights Chief says he supports demands for reparation for people of African descent as a form of justice for slavery. Volker Turk told a UN meeting that governments must move from words to action to address the wrongs of the past. You listen to the latest world news from the BBC.
At 3:04. Advocates for community composting rallied this morning to try to fix a composting site beneath the Queensboro Bridge. The organization
Are you
along with
cockroaches?
several city council members is asking New York City Parks not to evict the composting facility when their lease ends in June. Organizers say they process millions of pounds of organic waste at the facility. The Parks Department says it needs the space to store equipment while it builds a new small park near the Queensbridge North outskirts.
We also meet with top City Hall officials and know how to change a diaper.
7 members of the city council have formed a new group for lawmakers in City Hall called the New Parents Caucus. All current members are parents of children 5 years or younger. The caucus sent a letter to Mayor Eric Adams yesterday, pushing for him to fully fund universal child care for children under 5, among other legislative priorities. One member, Representative Jennifer Gutierrez, said her own experience trying to fund child care.
One love.
The caucuses are demanding. She says that she was sworn in office just 1 month after her baby was born. 53 degrees. It's mostly cloudy right now in lower Manhattan. For the rest of this evening, we could see some showers probably later on, most likely after midnight tonight. Lows in the upper 40s to 50s. For tomorrow, Saturday, mostly cloudy. Showers are likely in the morning. It's possible in the afternoon as well. It's going to be a lot warmer tomorrow. Temperatures reaching the upper 60s by the afternoon. It'll be pretty breezy too. That's up to about 25 miles an hour possible for tomorrow in the daytime. Mostly clear tomorrow night. Lows in the
Let me pull it aside.
Closing out our weekend on Sunday.
Let me pull it aside, yeah.
Mostly sunny that day. Highs around 60
Pull it aside,
degrees. No
come.
rain on Sunday or Sunday night for that matter. We'll see wind gusts on Sunday up to about 20 miles an hour. You're listening to WNYC. It's Friday afternoon at just about 3. WNYC is built on listener support. Your donation supports reporting from the WNYC newsroom, NPR, and the BBC.
How you doing?
Keeping you informed and connected
Going to
with
Penn
the
Station.
community
Yep.
and the world.
Why not?
Please commit to us with your financial contribution today by becoming a member now. Visit WNYC.org and click on Donate.
Red light camera reported ahead.
I'm Todd Willick, and it's the Friday News Roundup. For the next hour, we're going to wrap up the biggest stories from here and overseas. And given the news overnight from the Middle East, we have a lot to talk about today. Let's welcome our panel for the hour. Emily Tompkin is Global Affairs reporter and contributing columnist at The Forward. She also co-hosts the Election Tricycle podcast, covering the 2024 elections in the United States, the UK, and in India. Hi, Emily.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Joining us from London is Layla Moana Allen. She's special correspondent for the PBS NewsHour covering the Middle East. Great to have you back, Layla.
Great to be with you, Todd.
And in studio with me, Greg Myrie. He's national security correspondent for NPR. Greg, it's great to see you. Hi, Todd. Good to be here. Well, news overnight. Let's get to it. According to U.S. officials and confirmed by NPR, Israel's military has conducted missile strikes in Iran. There are also reports of explosions in Iraq and Syria. Iranian state media has cited unconfirmed reports of explosions in the central province of Isfahan, but they downplayed reports of an attack. Israel has not officially commented as of now. Greg, there's lots we don't know. What do we know so far? Yeah, right.
What is really striking is the way that the U.S., Israel, and Iran really aren't talking about this. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and make predictions, but that suggests that everybody may want to be tamping things down here. Iran was talking about a big retaliation if Israel hit. They're not really saying anything right now. Israel's not even confirming that they did it or what they did. Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, was at a press conference in Italy this morning. He didn't say anything. He said, I'm not going to talk about it. Well, here he is.
I'm going to be incredibly boring. I'm not going to speak too much to the report, other than to say that the United States has not been involved in any offensive operations. The United States, along with our partners, will continue to work for de-escalation.
Emily, what do you make of this? I understand why the United States doesn't want to be anywhere near this retaliation and they want de-escalation. But Iran, as Greg said, after promising overwhelming responses, its Israel response to their attacks earlier in the week, was making pains to not even blame this on Israel when it happened. They were concocting other stories that it didn't even come from outside the country. Why is everybody apparently just completely backing away from this?
I think that the United States has made very clear that it did not want Israel and Iran to be at, I don't even know what you call all-out war. They do not want this to escalate further. They do not want a regional war. Honestly, I think Iran has made that quite clear too, and I think Israel and Iran, I don't mean to be glib about this, but it sort of reminds me of when I was younger and would argue with my sister, and I would try to get the last word in and say, okay, now you can't say anything else, right? I think that's sort of what both massive win from all these countries joining together to shoot down his missiles so they can't attack you. Don't retaliate, take the win. He was completely ignored. So they're trying to find a way to save face through this while not escalating things and just trying to act like it's not as big a deal as many felt it was last night, but it looks like Israel might be starting a war. And it should be remembered that this is a big step up from what's previously happened. The shadow wars we've seen going on for years that have included assassinations on both sides, on the Israeli side and the Iranian side. Suddenly seeing missiles being sent back and forth to their actual territories, that is a huge step forward, and Western leaders do not want that to escalate any further.
That's Layla Allen from CBS NewsHour, also speaking with Emily Hampton, co-host of the Election Tricycle podcast. And in the United States, we heard from John Kirby, National Security Communications Advisor at the White House, talking to reporters this week. This was on Wednesday. Kirby wanted to rebut any suggestion that earlier in the week was meant to be intercepted. In other words, intended to fail.
All of this is categorically false. To coin a phrase from the president, still a phrase from the president, it's malarkey. This attack failed because it was defeated by Israel, by the United States, and by a coalition of other partners committed to Israel's defense. So let's be straight. Given the scale of this attack, Iran's intent was clearly to cause significant destruction or devastation.
Israel's prime minister, as we just mentioned, to take the win. Kirby said, I think the president was very clear with Prime Minister Netanyahu about the success that they enjoyed and the impact of that success ought to have. Well, Greg, all of this is leading to a question about messages and strategy. Iran launches 330 missiles at Israel. Kirby says, don't be fooled, they wanted to hurt people, but they didn't succeed. Israel responds. What's the importance there? If everybody's de-escalating and it's not interpreted as intended to be a fatal right hook knockout blow, what was it?
Well, the Iranian strike was a big strike. They fired, as you said, over 300 weapons, 120 ballistic missiles. That's a big deal. Now, they were shot down. There was warning that Israel, the U.S., and others had days to prepare for this. So it was a large attack, but one that was coordinated and defeated. And we still don't know exactly what Israel has done in Iran today. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, for example, if we can learn this, that Israel did strike a military base, that perhaps they had a very limited strike, but it did hit its target. Iranian defenses weren't able to block it. That may have sent the message without escalating. And again, the larger picture, Israel is fighting on three fronts now: in Gaza against Hamas, in Lebanon against Hezbollah, and directly with Iran. So these are all conflicts that date back decades, but we've never seen all three this active at the same time.
As we mentioned, Israel's allies all participated in the defense against the more than 300 Iranian weapons. The U.S., the UK, France, Jordan all shot down those Iranian drones and ballistic missiles. Here's the British Foreign Minister talking to ITV News on Monday.
We are urging that we respond with head as well as heart, that we're smart as well as tough. And I think the right thing to do is recognise that Iran suffered a double defeat. Defeat because their attack was an almost total failure, and defeat because the rest of the world can now see they are the aggressors, they are the malign influence in this region, and that is very important.
Where John's hammering there essentially with a similar message
see. Can you just get off us off here?
You the boss. It's gonna be like 2-3 blocks, but up to you.
Yeah, can you just get off us?
Okay. Just quick. Yep.
Your mobile phone puts a world of listening in the palm of your hand. Your favorite shows anytime, anywhere. Just open your browser and type in WNYC.org. Support for NPR and from PBS with Pointless Crown, The Tragedy of Love Canal. American Experience tells the story of housewives who led a grassroots movement to galvanize the Superfund bill. 9/8 Central on PBS.
טוב, אני פורשת, אני לאן תלכי? לראות משהו, סדרה משהו. טוב, מקס לא בא בסוף, חיכיתי לו. כן. טוב, אז יאללה. לילה טוב, סינדרלה. לילה טוב.
She's also co-host of the Election Tricycle podcast. And in the studio with me, Greg Myrie, national security correspondent for NPR. Talking about Ukraine and just a couple of moments here. And a lot of people noticed over this week that many of the weapons, the actual Iranian drones that were launched from Iran into Israel, are the very same weapons that Iran has been providing to Russia and that Russia is firing into Ukraine. The responses, of course, from the United States and from others have been very, very different. To what extent is there a hierarchy of alliances here? How does this work? Why the two responses, Israel and Ukraine, so different?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great example because, as you say, the same weapon, these Iranian Shahed drones, they're very loud, slow-moving. They're actually pretty easy to shoot down in both places, but a very different U.S. response. In Ukraine, where Iran has been giving these drones to Russia, and Russia is sending them into Ukraine on a regular basis, The Ukrainians have been doing a good job of shooting them down. The U.S. is providing lots of intelligence, helping Ukraine in lots of ways, but it's drawn a very firm line against the U.S. military actually getting involved, doing things like shooting them down. In Israel, the U.S. shot down 80 of these drones in addition to some ballistic missiles. So, as you say, a very different response. I think it reflects President Biden's desire not to do anything that could provoke a direct confrontation with Russia. Now, the U.S. also doesn't want to get involved in a war in Iran or Israel to get involved in a full-scale war with Iran. But this was seen as perhaps, hopefully, a one-off kind of attack. The U.S. could help, and that hopefully it will shut it down. But as you say, this is what we saw in Israel has happened on a regular basis, almost nightly basis in Ukraine, and the U.S. is not shooting down those same drones.
I mean, the weapons are the same, so it's a point of comparison. But Israel is a different strategic situation than Ukraine, a different strategic value. That also helps explain it. They're just not the same strategic calculus.
Oh, yeah, and the U.S. is just more engaged in the Middle East. And just the caution, the threat, if there was a confrontation with Russia, the stakes would be even higher.
Well, the conflict and the violence between Israel and Palestine moved here in the United States to New York, the United Nations, on Thursday, where the UN Security Council had a resolution that would have recognized a Palestinian state. The United States blocked that resolution. 12 members of the Security Council voted in favor of the resolution. 2 countries, Switzerland and the UK, abstained. The United States, as I said, vetoed that resolution. That decision was condemned by Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. He said that the U.S. veto defied the will of the international community, which supports the state of Palestine obtaining full membership in the United Nations. Israel's foreign minister praised the U.S. for vetoing what he called, quote, a shameful proposal. Emily, why did the U.S. veto this resolution now?
The stated logic of the U.S. was that, one, they're not opposed to the creation of a Palestinian state, but think it will come from negotiations on the ground and not in New York. And 2, that they worry that some conditions for statehood have not been met, and point to, i.e., that Hamas is still on the Gaza Strip. I think critics of this decision would say, no, you are just giving diplomatic cover to Israel, which has said, this Israeli government has said, we do not want the creation of a Palestinian state, no way, no how. I just want to quickly flag one other thing, which is that it's very interesting to me that in this war, Israel has repeatedly condemned the United Nations as hypocritical and anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. But when it comes to decisions like this, or calling on the UN after Iran strikes, the United States has merit and has weight. So it's, I think it's interesting. One interesting question to come out of this war is how these different international bodies and international fora are both given and stripped of legitimacy when it's, let's say, convenient for an individual country.
Layla, the United States vetoes the resolution for recognition of a Palestinian state in the UN Security Council. Meanwhile, at the same time, reporting just over the last day or two from the Wall Street Journal that the United States, the White House, is making a major diplomatic effort behind the scenes to try to essentially trade recognition or a pathway to recognition for a Palestinian state from Israel for recognition and normalization with Saudi Arabia. That would be major. What's going on here?
Well, this is exactly it. It's not, as Emily said there, that the U.S. is fundamentally opposed to a Palestinian state. The U.S. in fact very much wants a Palestinian state because for many years, successive U.S. governments have believed that the only way towards peace here is to have a two-state solution. The issue is that they don't want the power to control that to be ceded to the United Nations. They want to be in charge of it, and they want Israel to be able to have a controlling hand and have that black sun as their major ally. So if it was voted for within the UN, that suddenly takes that power off the table. They want Palestinian leaders to have to make major concessions in order to be able to get their state. So that's the first thing. The second issue, as you say, Saudi Arabia has become a very major player here. We saw it was an absolutely huge development that Saudi Arabia stepped up and helped to shoot down those Iranian missiles that were coming into Israel alongside Jordan, alongside the US. That's the first time that kind of collaboration has happened. Now, of course, just before October 7th, we were seeing the normalization of relations with Israel happening with multiple Arab countries, and Saudi Arabia was next. Saudi Arabia being the biggest backer both of many projects in multiple Arab countries, and also a lot of the funding for jihadist groups coming out of Saudi Arabia. So it's a major player, and whichever side it takes is very important. So the idea now is that by trying to get Saudi Arabia involved in pressuring Palestinian leaders, they hope that they might be able to get a deal that Israel wants, and Israel obviously will be very much in favor of having that Saudi support, both in terms of legitimization for the Israeli state and also having a partner in the Arab world. The major issue here is that many believe the Palestinian Authority, which is the leadership, the stated leadership of the Palestinian territories, and so would be its leadership in the UN, is not fit for purpose, is deeply corrupt, and is not representative of everyone. So President Mahmoud Abbas is now highly criticized by many Palestinians who say that he's not doing the best for them. If they do get membership of the UN, they then become a state without actually having official state borders, and that pushes Israel and its allies into a very difficult situation.
Before all of the carnage, before all of the misery, before all of the attacks and the death, it's easy to forget that one of the purposes of Hamas's attack on October 7th in the first place was to derail all of this sort of movement toward normalization that Layla was just talking about, to sort of send them, launch a war and back off the Saudis from normalizing things in a way that would calm things down a great deal and lead to a Palestinian state potentially.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a real stress test for what's known as the Abraham Accords. We've seen the Emirates and Bahrain and others have established relations with Israel, and they've held up. I mean, this has certainly put it under stress. It looked like the Saudis were next, and it appeared they were fairly close before the October 7th attack. It seems that may take a while to get back on track, but it does seem like it's holding up, even as we see this horrible war playing out in Gaza.
Well, it's been more than 6 months since Israel set out to destroy Hamas in Gaza after October 7th. In that attack, 1,200 people were killed and 250 were taken hostage. And to date, close to 34,000 people have been killed in Gaza since October. The majority of those killed are women and children. The latest tally is from Gaza's health ministry. Layla, you've been reporting on war-related child trauma in Gaza and Israel. Tell us a little bit more about your reporting.
I have. I've been reporting on the war since I landed in Israel the day after the October 7th attacks. And of course, a huge amount of trauma among children in Israel who were locked in these safe rooms as the attacks happened on these kibbutzes, many of whom watched family members die. Now, they are deeply traumatized, many of them are displaced, many still living in hotels across Israel. They have access to therapists, to help. It's going to be a long process, but they are on that journey. Children in Gaza have access to none of that. They have been living for 6 months under horrific bombardment. Many of them have lost family members. At least 16,000 children in Gaza is estimated to have lost one parent. Nearly 10,000 have lost both. More than 10,000 children are dead. Many of them have been found by their siblings. So these children have been displaced multiple times. Many of them are now living in tents where there's rocket fire every day. They've got nowhere else to go. They can run towards the sea. That's about it. They're also starving. There are children selling scraps of things they've managed to dig out from their destroyed homes on the side of the street to try and get enough money for food. These children are absolutely desperate. They're bereaved. They're deeply, deeply traumatized, and they have no access to medical help, to psychological help. Psychological organizations haven't been able to get in to work with them because the pressures for immediate help, for trauma care, for people who are dying, for food, to get people to these people who are suffering from near famine is the priority. So the mental health of these kids is what's going to be a generational scar for decades to come. And of course, as well as the humanitarian issue, which is absolutely dire, we also know that jihadist groups across the Palestinian territories, Hamas in particular, use as a recruiting tactic the death of parents killed by the Israeli forces to recruit children into becoming future jihadists. So that's also the next big step, is there are thousands of children now deeply traumatized and deeply vulnerable.
That's Layla Milana Allen, special correspondent for PBS NewsHour, also speaking with Emily Tamkin, global affairs reporter and contributing columnist at The Forward, and Greg Myrie, national security correspondent for NPR. You're listening to 1A. I'm Todd Zwillick. Layla, the psychological and physical suffering in Gaza especially among children you've been reporting on. You've also been reporting from the West Bank and settler activities there. Take just a minute and update us on your reporting.
I have. So from the beginning of the war, we saw, because of course all eyes were on Gaza and southern Israel, a huge uptick in settler activity, illegal settler. 60% of the West Bank that's disputed settlements are illegal under international law is because that land mass is what's supposed to become a Palestinian state if it does. In the first few months of the war, we saw double the number of Palestinian villages evicted by violent settlers turning up with guns to their villages that we'd seen in the 2 years before the war. That has continued apace. Many of the IDF soldiers who were monitoring the West Bank had been moved down to fight in Gaza on that border, meaning that settlers had been recruited into the army. So the actual people defending those villages in the West Bank are in fact settlers who want to move those Palestinians. Now, we're not talking about towns where there are jihadist groups, in places like Nablus and camps like Jenin. We are talking about defenseless villagers who herd cows, who this is their entire livelihood, who've been there for hundreds of years, being removed from their land, that land being burned and taken over. They will not get that land back. We're seeing these villagers being shot. There's nothing they can do, and when they try and report it to the authorities, they're ignored. So there is a land grab going on right now, a deeply violent one that will be irreversible, and is also supported by the very right-wing coalition that Benjamin Netanyahu has in government right now. So that Palestinian territory of future negotiation is turning before our eyes while everyone is focusing on Gaza.
And those settlers, in many cases, in all cases, armed, but really just essentially vigilante mobs, as Layla says, grabbing land and holding on to it for a future where there's a negotiation and they can up the denominator of the amount of land they have. All right, we will leave the conflict in the West Bank and in Gaza and Israel and Iran for the moment, because I promised that we would talk about Ukraine, because there is big...
For over 70 years, MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
77 WABC. This is Rudy Giuliani coming to you from, in this case, Manchester, New Hampshire, where New York was set afire today by a man who
head to your pickup on Broadway.
Right before the Trump trial. We don't know exactly why. If we find out before the end of this, we will. But you stay tuned. By the time we get to the end of the day with Rita and Kat and with Bo, I'm sure we'll know. And does it matter? I don't think so. I think the acts of insane people shouldn't really affect us. It's impossible to tell how much of it is, due to something that Biden side. So before I know, I'm going to say, unless there's something about it that we don't know, there shouldn't be too much weight put on it, other than the fact that the guy needs help, and not just the guy needs help. The guy needs to
turn left on Broadway.
Somebody else on fire by mistake. What about that? And it is interesting that Biden did that democracy. What do you want, democracy or freedom, during the Kennedy endorsement? I would imagine Robert probably figured to some kind of justice,
Just ahead, pick up Crystal on the right.
Those with the demented ones, the guy chooses demented. Somebody with a couple brains, but and this is the guy right in front of you makes a total fool out of you and himself. Unfortunately and tragically, to the detriment of this country and the lives of people, he makes a fool out of the United States of America. Because, again, it's not isolated conduct. Last night on my television show, on my online television show, I showed a number of pictures of creepo smelling girls' hair, touching little girls who looked extremely uncomfortable, telling the story
pick
of
up
how
Crystal on
young people play with the hairs on his legs because they got very blonde. And then he really loved having children in his lap. And then numerous pictures of him inappropriately touching little girls, some of whom looked horrified and shocked, and suggested that maybe there'd be a protective order placed on so that, I mean, they're going to boss Trump around so much. Why don't they put a protective order on him? He can't be near kids. I'd include his grandchildren because I have no idea if an allegation about sleeping, going to shopping.
Yeah.
Head to your drop-off at Nobu 57.
Yeah.
How are you?
Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Please use your seatbelt for your safety.
Let's go. No. Go up in 6 hours.
Estimated time in traffic, 9 minutes.
Strangest sent 300,000. I don't know, that guy sent me some fucking stranger there. I got my number off my website. Whose boy? Yep. Which one? Not the nephew. Okay. Which one? Okay.
that shows me is that he doesn't respect me. That's all that tells me. Like when Lewin slid into my DMs and asked me to go to Miami with him, all that tells me is that nobody respects bald head Ed. It's not my problem, it's a bald head Ed. It's a real problem. Like they're not getting the respect that they should be getting, and that's a problem they need to take care of. It has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. No, you're not. It's my birthday. What are you talking about? No, you're not. It's your birthday. People are supposed to give you gifts. The fuck? No, you're not. No, you're looking way too deep into it, especially behind a man that didn't even give you a gift. Like, girl. I take gifts from strangers all the time. Like, of course you should. Can't you really call me to ask me this question? I'm not the right person to call. I am not the right person to call. Yeah. You are, and I don't know, definitely don't know why you're feeling bad when the rent is due. You didn't get a gift, like you got a spa date, but what the hell? You've been with that man 15 years, and you got his daughter. I'm a bad influence, but that's how I would look at it. I'd be like, you brought your bestie ass daughter from one side, and you didn't even give me a gift. Okay, you go to this spot, you went up to this spot. Like, I'm sorry, like, you've been with him too long, you too much, and you got it for everything else. So why hasn't he? Like, why does he keep saying, I want to get you this, I want to get, so get it. What the hell? Oh, who are you talking to? It's either Van Cleef or the Chanel. But you can tell, like, Jasmine, when you see my Cartiers, do they look fake? Like, I can tell, like, you can tell by the way the screws are. You can tell though if they're fake or they're real. Like you can tell there's not two separators that break open the. On my right. Sorry, that's yeah. Go ahead. Oh, duh! Like I can't even believe this is a conversation. Don't tell anyone, and you know he ain't gonna tell anyone. You're not married, girl. Like, all right, then don't do it. Then don't. I don't know what to tell you. That's the problem. I wouldn't take it like that. It's not sneaky. Like, you didn't know. I didn't know. You say nothing. Like, was I supposed to tell you someone gives me a gift? It's not like you're sleeping with him. Yo, Monster gets no respect in these streets. You sit here and say Monster will kill people. It doesn't sound that way. He's not that scared. He's not that scared because for all he knows, you could turn around and tell Monster everything he's doing. He is not that scared. You need to get that out of your mind. There's no respect. But what I'm thinking is there might not be no respect because do they make money together, him and Monster? Excuse me.
Please.
Emergency vehicle reported ahead.
Yeah, but there's something, there's no respect there. There's no respect. He doesn't respect him. Something must have went south. Something must have went sour. think you should just take it and start, like, you know, you see where it's at. Yeah, and see where it's at until you can do it again. Because you never know. Monster could start acting up in a week before the race goes. Then what? Then what? Take it right now, yeah. And just play it by ear. Be nice, be cordial, like don't be chilling with him or anything like that. And then see how Monster is like the next few weeks. You're so up and down with him. It's like not consistent.
I get sad. He keeps trying to offer me things. I keep saying no. He's like, why don't you feel like me do anything for you? And I don't know, like, I'm like, the gift. He's like, yo, I've had it for a week now, and you keep playing, like, forget it. And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm hesitating. Because I feel like once I take something involved with the phone shit, like, I would have tried, like, you know.
Yeah, but so no, I would have worked. Yep. Let me call you right back because I can't even deal with what this guy is sending me. I'm gonna send it to you what he's sending to me. He's telling me to pick him up. Pick him out. The one that just cashed out me. Jasmine is telling me to pick him out of this lineup. No, please. Please look at what I just sent you. Why does God give these to me? Why does it always gotta be these ones? Can you please look? Because I'm dying. I don't know. No, honestly. Let me turn that over, right? Let me call you right back, Jasmine. I gotta make sense of this right now.
time in traffic, 8 minutes. In a quarter-mile, turn right on West 57th Street using the right lane.
Probably not get to the bottom of exactly why the tapes that were sent to me are doctored. And they never informed me they were doctored because I had a fever. And it just happened the week has proven beyond any doubt New York City is what it has always been, with a few exceptions when there are independent or Republican mayors of the city, with a judiciary that in some ways highlights the crookedness of the city, because we always expect some kind of a fair judicial system. And when it comes to political cases, the opposite. Well, don't forget G2G.org. Let's get it done this weekend. $11 a month. Dr. President of the Turtles Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans, heroes. Their lives on the line for our community. Stand our pledge. Heroes by Heather Turner. Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomb. Complete loss of his left eye. He touched to the right eye. He needed 20 surgery.
Turn right on West 57th Street, then drop off Crystal.
Especially adapted smart, designed to his needs. He moves around his home more easily now. His home also gives him the help of people like you. The foundation supports Join Towers to Towers and United America's Hero. Our nation's catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, homeless veterans, the Lone Star families, and the families of fallen first responders. Donate $11 a month to Towers to Towers. G2G.org. That's
Drop off Crystal.
G.org. 95 cents of every dollar goes directly to the person.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome. The expensive place. Don't eat too much.
Don't eat too much. You're gonna pay my bill.
You're gonna look like Macy's balloon.
I'm gonna look like what?
Macy's balloon. Don't
Why
eat.
am I fat?
No, I said don't eat too much. It's expensive place. And if you eat too much, you're gonna be looking like Macy's balloon. It's expensive.
Hold on. That was just great.
No.
That was great. Tell the people one more time what you just told me.
I said don't eat too much. Nobu's expensive place, and you don't want to be look like Macy's balloon.
Do I look like Macy's
No,
balloon
you're
now?
so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Habibi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you later.
Opening statements in the trial is expected to begin this coming Monday. Coming up
back up on W57th Street.
You'll find it all at Bakersfield Porsche on Route 1 in Edison. Now your forecast from the Ramsey Mazda Weather Center today, mostly cloudy with a high of 55. 54 and cloudy outside our Midtown studios. I'm Liz Redvalley. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
No, I want a U-turn. I want a U-turn. I need to pick up somebody there. U-turn and pick up somebody there. Yeah. Somebody disabled pick up over there.
Also confirmed that no other bystanders, including the individuals who attempted to extinguish the flames, were seriously injured. He's in critical condition. He was moved to a burn unit. Got to be in a lot of pain right now. He had a manifesto. And this is where I'm going to need help in the coming days from the Countess of Conspiracy to understand exactly what's going on here. In his manifesto, he wrote about the research he's been doing on a global. Now, I don't know which conspiracy that one is. It could be the COVID stuff. No, well, it's a Ponzi scheme. It could be the 5G networks, but they're not everywhere. It could be the rain, the cloud seeding. Especially since it's been raining in Dubai lately. It could be anything. So I don't know what's coaching this. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say coach. I
אתה יודע שבעלת מונטבס מסתובב מאז? כן, הוא שמע את המשפט שאלונה אמרה, תגיד לי על המשפט הזה. רגע, מה לקח בבית? שמי שתריד לו? אתה יודע כמה מרידים לו?
In a quarter mile pickup on the right.
אישה נשמה בלי להרים. בלי להרים, נשמה. מה, הוא מגיל 16 סובל אותי. מה נראה לך? כאילו, אתה יודע, מגיל 16 עד עכשיו זה כבר... זהו. לא, אני אישה טובה, די, מספיק. אני דואגת לו.
Pick up on the right.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. You picking up more people or just you?
Head to your drop-off at 555 10th Ave.
So many people, I got scared. Let's go. You have appointment now.
Please use your seatbelt for your safety.
40th Street and 10th Avenue.
Gatherers and observers. New York 1010 winds, AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist John Fears now with this live report.
Well, the showers across the area this evening. Looks like steadier rain that we get is going to be later tonight after midnight. We'll get back in the upper 40s. And then tomorrow the rain ends early in the morning. By 9 o'clock.
Apple surprise posted on Instagram in the wee hours of the morning.
Staying up late was worth it for Nadia, a Swiftie from Switzerland. I'm so excited. Yeah, so because I'm a big reader, so and the fact that it's all Polish, so I'm like, yes, she's finally embracing like all the bookish friends as well out there. Nadia was at an animal adoption center in Soho that's inviting fans to come listen to the music, make a bracelet, and adopt a cat. First had a couple of cats of her own. I believe she lives in Manhattan. It would be wonderful if she stopped on by and join us. Manager Emily Roberts said they have 13 Taylor Swift-themed cats with names like London Boy, Heartbreak Prince, Lavender Haze, and Travis. Marla Diamond, 10 wins on 92.3 FM in Soho.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. So right or wrong, it's your reputation on the lawsuit. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-933-1022 to speak to an expert. That's 800-933-1022.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes accompany 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world. Turning to the best in the business for websites, go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
The relentless pursuit of the stories that matter to you. All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world. Well, down to 57 degrees on this Friday afternoon. Cloudy skies at 420. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Panel has been set down at the Trump hush money trial. They seated 12 jurors yesterday, capped it off with 6 alternatives today. Opening arguments start Monday. As police and fire crews dealt with an emergency in front of the courthouse, man set himself on fire. We'll have more on that. Enough already. Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams say we heard you, and we're doing something about it. Talking to honest pot dispensaries in the city who say they're used to seeing it. Illegal pot shops and want it stopped. But a disturbing scene The jury is seated in the Donald Trump hush money trial now. They seated the main panel of 12 jurors yesterday. Late this morning, they also picked 6 alternates who will listen to testimony in the case, which will start on Monday at 9:30. But a disturbance outside the courthouse is what got everybody's attention. A man set himself on fire, dousing himself and some papers and pamphlets, police say, which he pulled out of a backpack, and all of this in front of shocked onlookers. Here's Chief of Detective Joseph Penny at a news conference today.
The pamphlets seem to be propaganda-based, almost like a conspiracy theory type of pamphlet. Some information in regards to Ponzi schemes and the fact that some of our local educational institutes are fronts to the mob.
The man identified as Maxwell Azzarello from St. Augustine, Florida. He is still in critical condition. Again, no indication that this was at all tied to the Trump trial, although they say there were some words written online by him that made reference to the trial itself. As for the Trump case, again, opening testimony will start at 9:30 on Monday. Prosecutors trying to show he paid off a porn star to cover up an even bigger crime, that is, duping American voters out of the truth just days before the 2016 presidential election. Also at this hour, the judge holding a hearing now to determine if the prosecutors will question Trump should he get up on the witness stand about his civil trial judgment. Trump calling it all a political witch hunt on part of Democrats. Padlocks on the front doors of your illegal business, license suspension, high fines. Some of the ways Governor Hochul's new 5-point plan will crack down on illegal pot shops, which have become a big fat pain in the you-know-what for operators who are doing it the right way. Here's Mary Lynn Buckley.
Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams held up a padlock. It's the same kind they say any business caught selling illegal pot will see on their front door effective immediately. Before, if you were caught and fined and tried to appeal it, you could still stay open. Not anymore. But while the due process plays out, the padlock stays on. It's not just fines businesses should be facing. You also could lose your licenses to sell certain products as a punishment.
New York State can revoke tobacco, liquor, and lottery licenses. So when that jackpot gets up to $1 billion, people won't be coming to your store to buy those tickets.
Landlords aren't out of the woods either. If your tenant is caught selling illegal cannabis products, you too are going to be slapped with fines. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wind on 92.3 FM in Murray Hill.
Meantime, up in the Bronx, a fight that went way overboard. A guy set on fire during a fight with another man in Melrose. This happened at 11 last night on East 159th Street. Police say one man threw rubbing alcohol on a 39-year-old and lit him on fire. Police say the two men knew each other, so it wasn't random. The victim rushed to NYC Health and Hospital's Harlem with burns on his head and face. He is in stable condition. The other man got away. They're still looking for him.
Overseas that he met through one of his podcasts to ask about their lives, visit cool places in the country where they live, and kind of indulge in his unique mix of smartly silly improvisational comedy. So in the first episode, they show part of his video call with a Norwegian fan who is also a musician. I want to be a hit on the Norwegian pop chart. Is that a possibility? That is an above 0% possibility. And then O'Brien winds up singing on one of the guy's songs. Eventually he also sings with them in concert. So it is quirky, improvisational, but it's also pretty entertaining.
Yeah, well, you can hear Conan O'Brien himself is having fun here. I mean, again, if you know Conan O'Brien, you know him as the late-night talk show guy. But those audiences are declining. Is this him trying to figure out the next chapter? Like
555, that's a tall building, yeah, on the left side.
He had a show on TBS that ended about 3 years ago, and there was this question of how he would continue on. But he's developed his company into a home for interesting podcasts. He's produced shows for other comics. He sold that company for millions to SiriusXM, and he found a way to turn his comedic style.
I almost got offered to live in that building. I almost got offered to live in the building, but I switched to another building in Chelsea. They do deal, you know, for low income, lottery. Yeah. All the building in Manhattan, they give 20% of the unit to low income, but they get tax break. That's how they do it. Yeah, you should apply. Maybe you win. That's right.
I live here though.
Where do you live?
I live in Los Angeles.
Oh, you just visiting?
Yeah.
No, stay here. We need you here. You wanna be my roommate? You can be my roommate.
Drop off on the left.
Well, thank you.
Here is good because over
Here
there's
is
too
good,
much
yes.
traffic.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Just watch the bicycle, okay? They're like crazy.
will.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
Take care. Yep. Amanda Marcos de Silva. What's up, Armando Marcos de Silva? 1235th Avenue gonna be next. Right. Are you on 42nd or 43rd Street?
43rd.
Oh, okay. I'm on the way. Okay, 560 West 43. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, see you soon.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
you can turn in the driveway, that would be. If you can turn in the driveway, that'd be great.
Okay, see you soon. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Throw into question Joe Biden's win.
Yep. Delivery.
Paxton said he's immune from being sued in his official capacity. But the Fifth Court of
Amanda
Appeals
Marcos de
acknowledged
Silva.
Friday that Paxton was being sued
Armanda Marcos de Silva.
like any lawyer.
Speed trap reported ahead.
Violation, the judges said. Paxton will likely appeal the decision to the state Supreme Court, which is already considering a similar lawsuit against his top deputy. If he goes to trial, Paxton could lose his law license. But according to state law, he doesn't need one to be Attorney General. I'm Lauren McGaughy in Austin.
Some scary moments this afternoon in New York City outside the courthouse where former President Trump's criminal fraud trial was taking place. A man apparently set himself on fire in a nearby park. Police say he walked to the center of the park, took out pamphlets from a bag and threw them around, then doused himself with an accelerant and lit himself on fire. Here's New York Fire Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh.
The victim is in critical condition but is alive and intubated at Cornell Burn Center. At this time, there were three NYPD officers and one
Armando Marquez de Silva.
who had minor injuries from their exposure to the fire. They are all fine, they are stable, and they are green tags, which is minor at this time.
New York police described the
You want to open the back to, because you will understand.
conspiracy theories and Ponzi schemes. This is NPR.
And it's on WNYC New York. I'm Sean Carlson. It's 51 degrees at 432. New York State's proposed budget comes with a range of new tools to crack down on unlicensed cannabis shops. Local officials will now be empowered to seek padlock orders.
Yeah, 103 and 5th Avenue, man.
Yeah.
What is hospital?
It's close to the hospital.
Get a store shut down.
I'm going to a theater instead.
It's a theater over there.
It's in the museum. There's El Museo del Barrio, which is a museum.
Did they have any event?
Yes,
I am a part of a theater production company, and we are opening up a show tonight. We have our first show tonight.
What kind of show?
It's called Gilbert and Sullivan. Have you heard of them? They're English operettas.
Oh.
So they were written in like...
I remember Gilbert Gottfried, that the comedian guy.
Totally different.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he was talented, for sure. No, these were written in this 1800s in Great Britain, and
is Mr. Bean gonna be there?
Mr. Who?
Mr. Bean.
Oh, Mr. Bean. I don't know. Imagine.
There's one guy look like him on TikTok. He's doing like a magic show.
Oh, really?
Just because he look like Mr. Bean, he has like 20 million followers. Shower him with gift. He don't even talk. He just do silly magic show.
Oh, really?
I wish I was looking like somebody. I could do some magic show too.
You could do, oh God, what's the name? There's an actor you kind of favor. Let's see if I can find him.
I want to try stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy.
I'm not good in front of crowds. I get very...
You know what is the best way to solve that problem?
What's that?
Go on TikTok.
Oh, yeah?
It's like you're in a crowd, you get some bad comment, you get some good comment, you build up your confidence so quick with show yourself on social media.
Right.
That's the way.
Do you know the actor Harvey Firestein?
I heard about it.
Firestein?
Yeah.
I can't say it properly.
Yeah. That the bad guy? Harvey Feinstein. That's the guy is arrested.
Not the one. No,
not the
that
bad,
was,
not the bad guy.
That was,
they have similar name.
Yeah, very similar. And this guy actually came out. And he's like, "Hey guys, like stop getting my name confused." Like I'm totally.
Oh, okay.
This guy's gay. He's very well known for his performances.
He do Broadway show. Or he do stand up comedy. A little bit of everything.
Well, he's primarily an actor, but he does comedy and he does musicals.
That's cool.
He was in Mrs. Doubtfire, which I don't know if he was in.
Oh, really? Oh. That's cool. I will Google his name later, but you type it here for me.
So how's this going up the avenue instead?
Yeah, he's there because
traffic on the train.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yes. Type
Speed trap reported ahead.
I will Google it later.
Oh, you may put it in there?
Type the name because I'll Google it later. Okay. Yeah. Just the name. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you sent it. I didn't want you to see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's habit when you finish typing.
Yeah. These guys keep Shabbos is religious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's gonna get text on Shabbos and say, "Oh no." I just choose any contact. Yeah.
You can blame it on. You can blame it on something. I don't know.
Yeah, Passover is coming back. Some people want to come to do the Seder in my home, and my wife, she's not Jewish, she's Shiksa, and I don't have patience for reading the Torah all night. I told him I'm just doing something quick and we're going to sleep. If you want to read the whole Megillah all night, go to some Chabad organization, you know.
Oh, wow.
I don't have time.
It's tonight?
No, it's next week, Wednesday.
Yeah. our show, we have a show every April, and it either falls around around Easter or Passover, and we lose like half of our people because of one of the two holidays, you know. So.
Yeah. But you see, what about stand-up comedy? People used to say anything and anything goes, but now everything you say, it's like you offend somebody, you know. So they don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to be funny when you upset people.
Yeah.
But I mean, people. I think it has to be a two-way street, right? Like if you're gonna make this joke and it's in the context of it being comedy, it's got to be delivered well, that it is still somewhat tasteful, but you also can't. You have to understand that if you're on the other side of it and you're like, okay, he's a comedian, like he's not doing it out of maliciousness.
They said the only group who never complained that you can make joke of them, they're the Jewish people. You can say as many joke of them, they always go with the flow. But all the other one, Chinese, black, or whatever, they're very sensitive about this joke.
Speed trap reported ahead.
I watched show. I love the show. This Fiddler on the Roof was really good show.
Have you seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? It's on Prime. It is so good. You would love it.
It's a show?
Yeah, it's about this girl, Midge Maisel, and she's it's the 60s, and she's she's at-home wife, and her husband's trying to be a comedian.
Speed trap reported ahead.
They're trying to make ends meet. His father owns like fabric business, in Midtown in the garment district. So then one day she catches him having an affair, and so she goes.
Speed trap reported ahead.
And she goes and does a set at the comedy club where he performs.
Yeah.
And she's a hit. And then you get to follow her story. So it's really funny. It's very it's exactly what you're saying, like Jewish people making fun of Jewish people.
Yeah. In the old days was so easy to cheat. These days it's impossible because everything on the phone registered. You can see there's the Apple tag, there's follow me. You can see, like if husband is a doctor, he tell wife, I'm working overnight, and she can look at the phone. He's not in a hospital, he's in a hotel, days in, days out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's impossible to cheat these days. You can't lie
It's
anymore.
almost impossible, but depending on what your job is, my ex was a real estate agent. So he could be going and showing an apartment, and I have no idea that he's at an apartment showing it, or he's at an apartment with somebody else. So, lessons to be learned.
Or he can be showing an apartment and mess around all those empty apartments. You don't even have to pay a hotel price. I saw actually a movie like that somebody was showing an apartment, was messing around those apartments.
Yeah, I feel like that's been in a couple of different TV shows. I feel like it was in Sex and the City. I think it was in a couple other things.
But if it's come to that situation, then you don't even need that person. You know what I mean? You give the old toys to the needy, and get the new toys.
Yes. Oh, that's funny. My boyfriend now is very sweet.
Yeah.
He's so different than my ex. So.
I change every 10 years. I change. I get a new one. It's like iPhone. You need a new version. It's like Carly's, It's just like that.
Change it up every now and then?
Yeah, every 10 years.
Well, maybe that was my problem. I was overdue.
Yeah. Every 10 years change. Don't count on nobody forever. But what's good to have is kids. Because spouse come and goes, but kids stay forever. I have 6-year-old girl, and I'm preparing for her birthday tomorrow. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't go the kid route, but
I know, I'm telling you.
I do have dogs.
Yeah, but it's different. You try it. You're gonna love it. You're not gonna regret.
I'm too old for that.
No, there's no more.
Yes, there is.
I saw lady, all kind ages, 87, 56, 57. I don't know how they do it.
Raising a kid. I don't want to be raising a kid now. I'm 40. I'm 45 this year. I'll be 46 at the end of the year.
I'm telling you, I don't know how they do it. Maybe IVF, but they old age and they succeed somehow.
No, thank you. I'd rather have a dog. I don't pay for their college education. They don't argue back so much.
Well,
he does have an opinion.
I'm telling you, this generation, they're into dogs, they're looking for Mr. Right, they're looking for career, and by the time they're ready, it's oops, too late.
Yeah.
There's no
But
Mr.
there's a lot of people freezing their eggs now because of that.
Yeah, I know. And that's something at least. But there's no Mr. Right. You're not gonna be quick rich. You just go with the flow, you know.
That's exactly what my boyfriend said. Go with the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow. That's it.
We're both on the same page with that. I'm very tightly wound and he's very easy. So he's teaching me to relax and I'm teaching him to be a little bit more structured. We're trying to find a happy medium. It's really pleasant being around somebody that's opposite.
You see why I call you? Because I look on the system, because you order the car from high-rise building, it's look like you're standing on 42nd Street.
Yeah, because it checks my, because the building is set back off of 43rd.
Yeah, so this is why
I could have, I mean, we do have an entrance on 42nd Street, but I had all those bags, so.
Yeah, that's good, it's all good.
And the entrance there is also like near a bus stop, so you can't stop for very long.
Yeah. So it's a call sometimes to be sure.
Appreciate that.
So tomorrow is gonna be Earth Day, and tomorrow they're closing like Park Avenue from 42nd all the way to 60th Street. People walk on the street, and also they're gonna do the city bike for free for tomorrow.
Maybe I'll take the city bike to the theater. I have a matinee tomorrow, 3 p.m. So I'll be at the theater at 1 p.m.
Wow, you're in the theater field and what you call it, a phobia for audience. You should be, I know maybe you're behind the scene,
I am the stage manager.
So, I mean, try the, TikTok, what you call it, YouTube, all those live, try a small audience, you build it, I'm telling you be, she sings, they love her singing. She has 40,000 followers on YouTube. Yeah.
So I have a cast right now of 70 people, and I have probably a crew of 20. And every time I have to talk to them, which is multiple times a day, right? If I have to get them all together, I get so nervous.
Wow.
I can't, and I know them all, and they all know me fairly. It's like.
So you're good one-on-one.
I'm very good one-on-one, and I'm good in small groups. But like when I'm standing on the stage giving announcements and stuff, it is the most nerve-wracking.
I heard the union they into this like Broadway show, and any position somebody need to do, even to put a glass of water on stage, and this they have to be involved. They're getting money out of that. Did you heard about that?
No.
And that's so annoying for you.
Most New York City Broadway theaters are all unionized. I've actually volunteered. My company, my theater company, we all have day jobs. Everybody that performs and everybody that builds the sets, the costumes, props, everything is all volunteer people. And all of our ticket proceeds go to a New York City charity each year.
So there's no union involved?
Not in ours, no.
I'm telling you, I heard it's so annoying because just to put a cup of water, they a couple $100, they have to pay the union, have to pay this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we have the only people who get paid in our production is the director, the choreographer, and the music director, and the orchestrator. Everyone that plays in the orchestra, but everyone else, all the performers, and all of the backstage.
Really volunteer?
All volunteer.
Why they do that? To build up?
Well, so this is actually our 100th year that we've been around.
Yeah.
And it was started by a family in 1924 that they just wanted to put on a production. So there's 13 different Gilbert and Sullivan operettas. And so they decided each year that they would try to raise money for nearby shelters and stuff like that. Because this was in the 20s, right? And then so it was before the stock market crash. But so it was one of those things where they just started and family and friends joined. It started with like 2 families, and now we have almost 600 people.
And performance, they can start there, like internship. This is how they can build up for your resume. I was here, I was there. Like, because internship, they do things for free because to get into the system, you know.
Nerve-wracking and fun all at the same time.
But you can do acting too, if you want.
I don't want, trust me.
But if you want.
You know, these people that are in my group, they're all, classically trained singers.
Let's say if some actor didn't show up, you can fill up.
Thank you.
You can cry on the man, you know. You can sing, you can make a move, dance.
I love singing, but I don't, again, shy. And I'm not great. I'm not a bad singer, but I'm not a great singer at all.
Give me a clip. Come on, say, looking out my window. You see, I remember this clip from, I heard the song, I Wish You Were Here, so he say, running around like 2 lost souls in a fishbowl. Remember that clip? Running around like a 2 lost souls in a fishbowl. But when Pink Floyd do it, it's beautiful, you know. Unstoppable. Bright shine like a diamond. Come on, give me a clip. Bright shine like a diamond. I'm so bad I can make a special CD for Christmas. Bad song. Some people will buy it to torture the enemy. You can make special for Christmas. Bad music. You know, now I drive through Times Square. Taylor Swift, she bought the whole area, that big screen. Yeah. And she pretend like she's giving live show there. Okay. And there's a big speaker everywhere and she's like singing. But she's not there, it's just pretend, loud, her music. She promoting, I don't know, new or something.
When was that?
Yeah. So it's like also deal with Sirius XM, channel 13, they said log on. But you drive on and you see her face dancing, singing all over this Times Square. That's a big screen, and there's a big speaker everywhere that she sounds so loud, like she's there in real life. Yeah, she's the one really succeeded. She said she passed the $1 billion.
She's a force to be reckoned with. It's definitely.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. Sometimes I drive, I see 2 trucks. One say Taylor, one say Swift. They driving one next to each other. So different. North Central Park and South Central Park. South Central Park, all the rich hotel. Here is just simple house.
It's a beautiful part of the park, though.
The lake.
I usually take the train up here to 112th and then get out and walk, but too much to carry.
Not today.
No.
There's a Trump case going on downtown.
Oh, I heard some guy put himself on fire.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Apparently he's some anti-conspiracy theorist or something like that.
He's for Trump or against Trump?
I don't even think he cares about Trump anymore.
Or he just tried to get attention, maybe.
Yes.
And you know, I drive through that court. There's like hundreds of TV satellite, van, and the whole area is closed. It's unbelievable.
I would not want to be on that jury.
So here is good?
Yep. Yeah, there's like...
Okay, God bless. Have a good day. You have something in the back. Don't forget.
Yeah, please don't drive away from us.
Thank you. Thank you for choosing us. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Nada. On to the next one. מה ביקשתי? רפ. Viva. Like, share, subscribe. מה ביקשתי? Like, share, subscribe. Yep. Kagan. Who is Kagan?
Speed trap reported ahead.
Sound good to me.
NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Hurst. A foreign aid package is up for a final vote this weekend. Today, the GOP House cleared a key procedural hurdle. That, and a rare turn, was not along party lines. NPR's Barbara Sprott has more. The House voted to advance aid bills to Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, setting up a Saturday vote on final passage. In a rare occurrence, Democrats also took in late Thursday night to help the majority party advance the bills out of the Rules Committee. House Speaker Mike Johnson's proposal to split up foreign aid into separate bills caused pushback from members within his own party, who pointed to promises Johnson had made not to move forward with the Ukraine aid bill without a measure to strengthen security along the U.S. southern border. 3 of his own conference members are supporting a move to oust Johnson as Speaker. Barbara Sprint, NPR News, the Capitol. Opening statements start on Monday in the hush-money criminal trial of former President Donald Trump over falsifying business records. A panel of 12 jurors and 6 alternates proceeded today. Trump has pleaded not guilty. It's the first of 4 criminal trials he's facing. Meanwhile, a man set himself on fire this afternoon in New York near the courthouse where jurors were being chosen for Trump's trial. NPR's Jasmine Garth has more.
Kagan. How you doing? Welcome. Yeah, East 60th Street. That tall building.
With anti-government conspiracy theories. He then doused himself with cleaning liquid and lit himself on fire. The park is open to the public, but because of the high-profile nature of the jury selection, there is heavy security in the area. Several civilians and police officers rushed to extinguish the flames. The New York Fire Department says Azzarello is 37 years old and originally from St. Augustine, Florida. They say, unbeknownst to his family, Azzarello arrived in New York earlier this week. He is in critical condition. Jasmine Garth, NPR News, New York. World leaders at the Group of 7 meeting in Italy are calling on Israel and Iran to avoid escalating tensions following Israel's launching of missiles into Iran early today in retaliation for Tehran's attack on Israel last weekend. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken.
You saw as well, or you'll see soon in the G7 statement, a commitment to hold Iran to account for its destabilizing activities, holding it to account by degrading its missile and drone capabilities. And yesterday, the United States announced additional sanctions on Iran.
Blinken says the U.S. wasn't involved in any offensive operations by Israel. Wall Street ended the day in mixed territory. The Dow up 211, the Nasdaq down 319. This is NPR.
And it's on WNYC in New York. I'm Sean Carlson, 52 degrees at 5:04. Mayor Eric Adams is praising Governor Hochul for including new measures to crack down on unlicensed cannabis shops in the proposed New York State budget. Adams has been pleading with the state to grant the city the authority to padlock shops that are not following the law.
The governor went further than I could ever imagine. We're now going to stores who are selling illegal cannabis, but we're saying to them, if you continue, you will lose your other license.
Provisions in the budget make it possible to revoke liquor and tobacco licenses from stores that don't follow warnings to stop selling cannabis. The budget also creates new fines for landlords that rent these shops. Governor Hochul says the process of shutting shops down will now be faster, but she adds they're unlikely to families say bureaucratic confusion and stonewalling by the NYPD and MTA often leave them with little clarity. Attorney Alan Shaby protects families and lawsuits against the MTA. He says the agency often asks for several extensions before complying with records requests, if they comply at all.
It just seems to be inordinate to me. It seems to be a strategy to prevent me from getting information that they already have.
The MTA says it releases surveillance footage to the public on a quote case-by-case basis as part of formal litigation proceedings or freedom of information requests. They've had to meet with top city hall officials and know how to change a diaper. 7 members of the city council have formed a new group for lawmakers in City Hall called the New Parents Group. All current members are parents of children 10 years or younger. The caucus sent a letter to Mayor Eric Adams yesterday pushing for him to fully fund universal child care for children under 5 and other legislative priorities. One member, Representative Jennifer Gutierrez, said her own experience trying to find child care helped shape the policy. The caucus are demanding. A quick look at our evening commute delays on southbound 6 and D trains, also flushing about 7 trains from the and S trains and Church Avenue. ND Transit North Jersey coastline is up to 30 minutes late. WNYC April.
Support for NPR comes from Organic Valley, a farmer-owned cooperative dedicated to providing ethically sourced food from small organic family farms across the country. Learn more at ov.coop/ethically sourced. On a Friday, it's All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Mary Louise Kelly in New York.
And I'm Elsa Chang in Culver City, California. There was a disturbing scene outside the Manhattan courthouse today where the hush money trial of former President Trump is being held. A person reportedly self-immolated in a park. So far, there is no suggestion of a motive directly related to the trial. But inside the courthouse, jury selection did conclude. 12 jurors have been picked along with 6 alternates. And as the high-profile case moves forward, the court is grappling with an issue that has become a regular and concerning feature of Trump's many trials, and that is the safety of the jury. For more, we're joined now by NPR domestic extremism correspondent and NPR political reporter Hannah Castillo, who has been in the courthouse today. Hi to both of you. Hey there. So, Hannah, I want to start with you. Now that the jury has been selected, what can you tell us about what it was like inside the courtroom?
Well, it's really such an unusual sight. You have everyday New Yorkers in the same room as a former U.S. president waiting to see if they're going to be responsible for his fate. The first thing that the judge has been asking is if they believe that they cannot be fair and impartial. And if they raise their hands, then that is used. The jurors then go one by one reading out their answers to a lengthy questionnaire about their history, education, occupation, and their potential connections to Trump, such as attending a campaign event. These get really interesting. Jurors have disclosed prior criminal histories, family traumas, and favorite pastimes in front of Trump and everyone else. Throughout this process, Trump turns to look at the jurors, and he's often leaning over to talk to his lawyers in this process, too.
Wow, what a fascinating dynamic there. And the lawyers are not allowed to ask about things that are not covered on the questionnaire, right?
Well, actually, Actually, they are. The Trump legal team has been spending time asking prospective jurors about their social media histories. One was dismissed because her husband's posts about Trump dating back to 2016 were critical of the former president. And another was asked to read social media posts from also years ago that called Trump a racist, sexist narcissist. Again, the former president. These were not selected. Trump's lawyer also asked jurors to detail their opinions and literal feelings about him. And again, this is a more intimate dynamic with a very incredibly powerful man. This questioning process has gotten emotional as potential jurors can be heard tearing up as they admit that they're nervous and don't know if they can be impartial even after agreeing so earlier in the process.
Sounds so stressful. Odette, you looked at what it can mean to serve on a jury for a Trump trial, like the safety concerns, the repercussions personally. Tell us what you're finding. So, Elsa, the challenge here is that, jurors need to feel that their privacy and safety are not at risk when they serve. But the court also needs to maintain some transparency to court proceedings so that there's public faith in the process. And finding that sweet spot is challenging, and it's been especially hard in the Trump trials. And that's because Donald Trump owns the social media platform, Elsa. And so, we've seen this pattern, a correlation, where when he posts criticism about specific people or processes, what follows are threats. And this has already been happening in this case. Judge Merchan's own daughter has been at the receiving end of harassment. And I've spoken to some people, including a former juror on a trial involving a Trump affiliate, who's been just stunned that there haven't been more protective measures set up at the outset of this trial, given what's happened in the past. Here is Juliette Kayyem. She's a former national security official. She says at this point, courts should be expecting Trump to complain about the proceedings, and that some of his followers may respond in violent ways.
It feels like we're sort of sleepwalking into 2024. It's just our democratic institutions that used to have these norms. Well, those norms no longer hold. And we have to accept that and prepare with the expectation that violence or the threat of violence is going to be part of our democratic processes, at least for the short term.
Well, Jimena, is the court doing anything to protect these jurors?
Well, this is supposed to be an anonymous jury. They're largely only identified by numbers. And I stood in the hallway for the first 2 days to keep an eye on when former President Trump would come out to talk. And every time, security required us to cover up cameras and point them at walls when the jury was coming through. And I had to be careful that I wasn't angling my phone in a way that could be perceived as me taking a photo. But there are still highly detailed questions being asked, right? About things like current and prior employers. And those answers were not sealed at the time. So on Thursday, one selected juror actually said that reports in the media revealed enough identifying information about her that she said some friends and family knew it was her, and she was dismissed after originally being selected. Another juror who was also excused Thursday morning after being selected voiced, quote, annoyance at how much information had been publicized about him, though we don't know exactly why he was excused. Judge Juan Merchan requested that members of the press not publish potentially identifying information such as physical characteristics or personal information.
Well, I'm curious, Odette, if these so-called norms don't seem to be holding right now, how are you seeing that play out?
There was a policy paper also released earlier this year by the National Conference of State Court Administrators that identified juror safety and well-being among the top issues that need to be addressed these days. And that's not just for the Trump trials. Someone with the organization mentioned the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, Derek Chauvin's trial, trials of people in Trump's orbit. We are in a moment now in the U.S. where norms have shifted. People who are civically involved, whether it be in trials, in election administration, on school boards, you name it, are now increasingly targeted with violence or the threat of violence, and that's a reality that won't reverse itself overnight, and it chills democratic participation. So people who can should be thinking about safety of these people in ways they may not have had to consider before.
That is NPR's Odette Youssef and Jimena Bustillo. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Ask experts on hunger emergencies which parts of the world they worry about, and they will give you a long list of places where people are at risk of starvation. Sudan, Gaza, Haiti. Famine has been a threat to humanity since ancient times, but it was not until after World War II that scientists began to investigate what starvation actually does to a person's body. NPR's Nareed Eisenman reports
Jews and kill millions of others. The survivors of these camps were emaciated.
American and British soldiers had rushed to feed concentration camp inmates and then had seen, to their dismay, that many of them actually perished.
It turned out starvation had thrown the survivors' biological functions so out of whack, their bodies couldn't handle starting up regular eating.
It's called the refeeding syndrome.
In the years since, researchers have uncovered a lot of the reasons behind it.
Blood sugar levels and electrolyte levels can wildly be volatile. And simply feeding regular foodstuffs can actually upset those balances.
Scientists also discovered some long-term impacts of extreme malnutrition by studying another grim chapter of the Second World War, a famine during Germany's occupation of the Netherlands that's often referred to as the Dutch Hunger Winter. Many of the survivors participated in follow-up studies for decades. The findings?
The children who were very young when they suffered malnutrition grew up stunted. They were appreciably shorter than their elder or younger siblings.
They also showed cognitive deficits, went on to have more health problems as adults. Later additional research on brain development helped explain why young children are so vulnerable to this kind of lasting effect. Anu Narayan is with UNICEF. She's in charge of coordinating its response to food emergencies affecting children.
We now know that really children under 2 years of age is when you're really forming most of your neural pathways.
And the young child's stomach is very small.
So the frequency with which they need to eat and the quality of nutrition with each of the foods that they're eating needs to be higher.
This means that even in the earliest stages of a food crisis, the family shift from acidic vegetables and proteins towards grains that are cheaper but less nutritious.
The child starts losing weight pretty rapidly,
what's called wasting.
That's when we see the quietness in the children. They've become very, very quiet.
Their bodies are reserving energy for only the most basic functions. Then even those start to break down, often beginning with the regulation of fluids.
Children's bellies will get distended. There is accumulation of fluid on their feet and their extremities.
Their immune system suffers, and the child may succumb to diarrheal and respiratory infections. They become too weak to stand up.
At that stage, they absolutely need medical care.
And aid groups have gotten really skilled at providing that kind of care. Duvall notes that in 1974, there was a massive famine in Bangladesh.
Nutritionists in South Asia developed very low-cost technologies for providing therapeutic feeding salts and sugars to malnourished children.
By the 1990s, clinicians had developed sophisticated protocols for how to use them. But today, the challenge is that there's an increasing number of crises where aid workers are being blocked from providing that kind of specialized
Speed trap reported ahead.
ongoing conflict. Here's UNICEF's Marianne.
The largest number of children at risk is Sudan.
World experts project that in Sudan, nearly 4 million children under age 5 will suffer from acute malnutrition this year. 730,000 of them will reach the life-threatening stage. Also worrying, says Narayan, is northern Gaza because of how quickly malnutrition has spread through the population. A data team led by UNICEF estimates that more than 21,000 young children there are now acutely malnourished, with about 4,400 at a point where, without medical intervention,
They will not survive.
for all the scientific progress on bringing people back from the brink of starvation, she says, when our access is limited, those are the children that we're likely to lose. Marie Eisenman, NPR News.
Germany has spent her life exploring Jewish culture through refugees. Now in her 80s, her new book is her most personal work yet, excavating her own culinary history. We'll have that more in just a sec. WNYC is supported by Lincoln Center Theater, presenting Uncle Vanya. Steve Carell plays the title character alongside an ensemble cast who together bring Chekhov's classic to life in this new version by Heidi Schreck, directed by Lila Neugebauer. More at VanyaBroadway.com.
WNYC members make it all happen. As an independent, not-for-profit news outlet, listener support is the largest share of our funding. Your donations allow us to bring you in-depth and comprehensive news every day. And just as you rely on WNYC, know that WNYC
work yet, excavating her own culinary history.
I've been more nervous about this book than any book.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's sort of going into my life, you know.
It's a combination memoir and cookbook called My Life in Recipes. When I show up at her Washington, D.C. home, she's making a version of a dish that she's been eating more or less since birth. It's the first recipe in the book, chicken matzo ball soup.
It looks good. Looks like we might want to eat it.
Like every Jewish mother and grandmother I have ever met, she frets over whether the matzo balls will turn out the way she wants them to.
So my mother, hers were al dente.
It's a big matzo ball debate. Light, fluffy, hard, dense. Every family does it their own way.
Right, exactly. And my mother-in-law was very light, and she was straight from Poland. So if you think about your parents or your grandparents when you're cooking, especially at holidays.
As with every immigration story, these family recipes evolved as people relocated, fleeing wars, or seeking a better life for their kids.
What do you say? Here is good?
Yes, this is great. Thank you.
You have a good day. Good weekend. Take care.
Thank you. You
God
too.
bless.
Have a great weekend.
We love you more. We love you more. Yeah, time to go for one tomato.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
It's okay, don't worry. Hey Siri, no problem.
Okay then.
Hey Siri, how's the weather gonna be tomorrow?
The forecast is calling for rain tomorrow.
Oh, shish. Shish kebab. Are you sure? The fuck?
No, with the small scissor. Had you break it? Definitely break it. I told you you should use the small scissor. No, it's because you say no. See? I cannot wear the same clothing for tomorrow. It's so dirty. I know that. So which one do you want to wear? This one is nice.
Speed trap reported ahead.
What is this? A tent? What's up with that tent? What's with the tent?
Mom, I need a small box. Yeah? I knew it. This is the best day ever, and also tomorrow is the best day. Well, I got a rainbow egg, Mom. Oh, Mama, I got a rainbow egg. This one is gone. And I got two berries. Mom, I'm done. Mama, zipper.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I was planning to do it in the playground, but it's a 60% chances of rain, light rain. Maybe I'll do it in the lobby of my building. Tomorrow I pick up the birthday cake. Today I only got small cupcake for her school, but tomorrow we're gonna do live for her birthday. Tomorrow morning we go Whole Foods, we get the big cake. Times Square and one tomato and be fine. Yep. Delivery. Yep. No problem, Shelly, but we're gonna do live tomorrow, like 12 o'clock, we're gonna do live for Aya birthday. Yep. Smell of the cookie. Here you go.
Both directions between Woodbridge and Mattawan. On the road, we have a crash on the Southern Parkway westbound approaching Lefferts Boulevard. The left lane is blocked. It's 52 degrees right now under cloudy skies in New York City. Rain is possible tonight, but you see it will probably be after midnight. We'll have temperatures in the upper 40s tonight. Tomorrow, high near 68 degrees. It's 5:35. Support for NPR comes from member stations and from Bank of America, offering access to resources and digital tools designed to help local to global companies make moves for their businesses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking-for-business and C3 AI. C3 Generative AI works to enable rapid access to traceable, hallucination-free insights from enterprise systems using any LLM, helping turn the invisible into the obvious. C3.ai.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Mary Louise Kelly in New York.
And I'm Elsa Chang in Culver City. A new take on The Office is in the works. 1010 Wins Entertainment is now.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and charges.
Yep.
Can you go faster? Faster. Super hot. I want to play with the slime. Open the slime. I know you need a scissor to open it. You only need a scissor. This is my gift for you. That's our gift for slime. That's fine. I will pick that up. There's a toy.
Yep. I mean it's the one tomato.
Mama, can you buy this for me?
Speed trap reported ahead.
Give me that. They're all mine. They're all mine because I picked it. I told ya. Mama, I'm not gonna play with this one out.
Get beer, apple juice, Coke.
No,
Yeah, I'm gonna go get beer, apple juice, Coke.
I'll put that on the pig.
Okay, everybody, thank you for us. See you tomorrow. Peace and love.
Oh, you always do your
See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Mama, I like using my teeth to open stuff. That's why I also use my teeth to open stuff. Put it on the pink slime. Put it on the pink slime.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Live.